Marhaba, welcome to Dunes of Knowledge Beginner's Bliss series. Today we are exploring the Arabic short vowels. In Arabic, we have three short vowels that are crucial for pronunciation. These are Fatḥa, Kasra, and Ḍammah. In Arabic, a short vowel is called haraka, ha-ro-ka, which means movement in English. Haraka is called movement in English. An interesting fact about Arabic language is that no word is named for the sake of it. Every word has a meaning behind its name. Let's explore why vowels are called haraka, which means movement. This term is significant because these vowels are responsible for giving movement to the sound of the letters. So, what they do is they give life to the letters, transforming their sounds. So, the movement is happening in the sound of the letter. So, what is the role of haraka? It gives life to the letter and it transforms its sound. How does it give life to the letter? By transforming its sound. And that is the difference between a living and a non-living thing, right? The transformation is happening in living things and there's no transformation in non-living things. Anyway, enough of science. Let's get back to Arabic. You must be wondering, how does a haraka change the sound of a letter? I am going to show you the magic of haraka and then explain how that happens. To understand this, we have three words. The first one is bait, which is a house, bint, which is a girl, and burtuqal, which is an orange. Now, you will notice that each word starts with the same letter, which is letter ba, bait, and then bint, and burtuqal. But the sound of each ba is different. Bait, ba, bait, bint, bi, bint, and bu, burtuqal, burtuqal. This is how the sound of a letter is transformed depending on the haraka. You see there is a different sign over ba, bait, bi, bint, and bu, burtuqal. Now let's explore each haraka, its sound and its formation. But before we get into the Arabic short vowels or haraka in detail, there's something that will help make the sounds of the short vowels easier to understand. So the short vowels in Arabic sound very similar to those in English. So the five vowels in English are A, E, I, O, U. And the main difference between the vowels in English and Arabic is only the number of the vowels. In English is 5 and in Arabic it's 3. So harakat in Arabic are 3, Fatḥa, Kasra and Ḍammah. And there are 5 vowels in English, A, E, I, O, U. That's the only difference. Now let's get into the harakat. The first haraka is called a fatha, and again it's called fatha for a reason. The word fatha or fataha in Arabic means to open, Whenever we pronounce a word with a fatha, we have to open our mouth for it. Now, the formation of fatha is such that it is a small diagonal line which is placed above the letter. This small circle represents any Arabic letter, and this is a fatha, which is a small diagonal line placed over it. Now, the sound of fatha is exactly like the sound of vowel A in English, and we are going to place fatha over a few letters and see what it does to the letter. Alright, so I'm just going to place a fatha on 2 letters and let's see what it does. So the first letter is letter Jim, and when we place a fatha on letter Jim, it becomes Ja. So the name of the letter is Jim, and the letter with fatha, Jim, fatha, Ja. Jim, Ja. The second letter is letter Lam. And when we place a fatha on letter lam, it becomes la. Lam, the name of the letter. Lam with a fatha, la. So ja, la. And similarly, you can place the fatha on all the Arabic letters. You can pause the video here and you can practice. I am just going to practice random letters with you. Let's say we want to read this letter, which is Seen with the fatha, Seen, fatha, sa. Then this one is Ain, Ain with fatha is A, A. Then Kaf, Kaf with the fatha is Ka. And you can practice the rest of them. I've come up with a word that has a letter with a fatha on it. This word is bard, bard, which means cold. Notice how the fatha is placed over the letter ba, bard, and we're just going to focus on this letter. And this is pronounced as bard. So we open our mouth when we say ba. And the sound of fatha does resemble the vowel A in English, and that's it for fatha. So we are done with the first vowel, that is fatha, and that resembles the sound of vowel A in English, and we are left with 4 vowels from English and 2 from Arabic. Let's dive into the second one. The next haraka in Arabic is kasra, kasra, and kasra in Arabic means to break, to break. Now, don't worry, we don't have to break anything, but why is it called break? For this, we have to understand the concept of breaking. Now, if you have ever noticed, the most common or natural way for anything to break is whenever it falls down. Be it a glass, a cell phone, or anything. As a matter of fact, even humans can break a bone when they fall down. So falling down has something to do with kasra. That is why it's called break. Let's see what is it that made kasra a kasra. Now, the placement of kasra is always under the letter. So the kasra goes down. So the motion of going down has got to do with the name Kasra as well as the pronunciation of Kasra. So whenever a Kasra is placed under a letter, our jaw tends to go down when we read the letter, and we are going to find that out when we place Kasra under the letters. But before that, the sound of Kasra resembles the sounds of 2 vowels E and I. E and I. So it could either be the letter I or E. Let's have a look at the letters and see what happens to them when we place a kasra under it. Remember, kasra will always be under the letter, and our jaw will also go down when we pronounce the letters. So I have 2 letters here. The first one is letter ba, and the second one is letter meme, and we are going to place kasra under both these letters. When we place a kasra under ba, it becomes b. B. Notice the placement is under the letter, and our jaw will also go down. B, B. The second one is meme with a kasra, and it becomes me, me. So the placement is under the letter, and the jaw also goes down. So B and me. Now let's have a look at a word with a letter that has a kasra under it and see how that word sounds. We have the word mirfaq here, mirfaq, which is an elbow. Mirfaq is an elbow, and see the placement of kasra is under the letter meme, mir. And then we also know this haraka, which is called a fatha. Now that we know it, let's see, it is placed over a letter or above the letter. It is placed above the letter fa. So what do? We open our mouth. Mir, our jaw goes down, mir, and then fa. And the sound of kasra under mim, mir, fa, resembles the sound of vowel I in English. So with that, we are done with the second haraka, that is kasra. The last haraka for today is called Ḍammah. Ḍammah. And Ḍammah in Arabic means to gather something. To gather something. Now, why is it called gather? Because whenever we want to pronounce the letter that has a Ḍammah over it, we are going to gather our lips for it. And Ḍammah is also placed over a letter just like Fatḥa, but Ḍammah does not look like Fatḥa or Kasra. Remember, Fatḥa and Kasra look the same. The only difference was the placement and the sound. But Ḍammah looks like the letter Wow, which is a slanted wow. And Ḍammah is placed over a letter, above the letter, not under the letter. And the sound of Ḍammah sounds similar to the two vowels in English, that is O and U. So Ḍammah looks like a slanted wow and is placed over a letter, and the sound of Ḍammah resembles the sound of two English vowels O and U. Alright, so we have two letters with Ḍammah over them. The first one is letter Qaf, Qaf, and the letter Sin, Qaf and Sin. So Qaf with Ḍammah sounds like Qu, Qu. What do? We gather our lips, Qu. And for Sin, Su, Su. Again, we have to gather our lips and make a round shape. So Qu and Su. Alright, so using a letter with a Ḍammah in a word, the word here is qutun, qutun, and qutun is cotton in Arabic, and the English word cotton has in fact been derived from the Arabic word qutun. Now notice the formation of Ḍammah. It looks like a slanted wow and is placed over a letter, and when we read qu, qutun, we gather our lips. And the sound of Ḍammah is similar to the Arabic vowel U. So qutun is cotton and we gather our lips. Alright, so here is a table showing the name of the harakat, the symbols used for them, how they sound, comparing them to the English vowels, and their placement. So the first one is called a Fatḥa, and the symbol is a diagonal line, and the sound of Fatḥa resembles the English vowel A, and it is always placed over or above the letter. The second one is Kasra. It looks just like Fatḥa, but the placement is below or under the letter, and the sound resembles the English vowels E and I. And the last one is called Ḍammah, Ḍammah, and it looks like a slanted wow and is placed over the letter, over or above, and the sound of Ḍammah resembles the sound of the two English vowels O and U. Now I have an activity for you. We're done with harakat and I'm hoping that you have understood them. Here's an activity, and I've written the Arabic words without harakat, and you have to place the harakat according to the sounds or pronunciations written. So the first one is qatala, qatala, and the second one is rakiba, rakiba, and the last one is durisa, durisa. And that's it for today. You will find the answers in the description below. Let me know about your answers in the comments. Subscribe for more. Ma salama.